welcome to Volume 2 of Compendium 2020, where I'm giving away 52 science fiction, fantasy and horror stories throughout 2020 on my blog at andrewhawnt.blogspot.com, as well as on my YouTube channel here. They are being collected each quarter. Every 13 stories will be collected together into a Kindle book. First of which is out now, Nexus Point. Second of which, the second volume will be out soon, which carries the same title as this video, The End of Never. Eventually, at the end of the year, all 4 of those ebook volumes will be compiled into one omnibus paperback edition of all 52 stories in the Compendium 2020 project. So with this story, fantasy story, at The End of Never, Volume 2 begins. So I hope you enjoy the story, and thank you for sticking with me this far. There's lots more to come.
The Edge of Never by Andrew Hawnt. Callaghan strode through the gates of Never, sword drawn, chest bare, his skin slick with sweat. The fight to get to the gates had been the toughest of his life, but the battle he was yet to face would be even more dangerous. He strode onto the wide bridge that was the famed battleground of Never and looked ahead, not allowing himself to look at the warped madness that surrounded the floating isle. Watcher Grey was there, waiting for him, bony fingers intertwined against his heavy robes. The hooded old man nodded to Callaghan. "Well done, Callaghan de Farley," came his cracked, ancient voice. He sounded like he was trying to remember how to speak. "You have faced the trials and lived. You understand why you were given this quest." Callaghan's chest rose with deep breaths. "I was called here by your monks, Watcher Grey. Those who were called to join you on the bridge beyond the gates of Never are tasked with killing their doppelganger, similarly called from their own realm. I take it there is another me at the end of the bridge." Watcher Grey nodded slowly. "There is. He is a warrior like you. He has faced the trials in his own world, and is here for the same reason, to be the only version of you in existence, to maintain the balance of things. There are infinite versions of each person across infinite realms. When two are so similar that their souls begin to converge, they must face each other for supremacy, or be removed from existence. Either way, one of us will die this day," Callaghan said bluntly, tightening his grip on the sword that had ended more lives than he could count. "My whole town has placed wagers on me walking out victorious. I intend to honour those wagers. Bring the imposter." A bony finger stretched out towards him. "Remember, Callaghan, that your life will be visible all around you, as will your foes. Distraction by those visions will inevitably be defeat." Callaghan could see the stranger coming closer along the bridge. He too was stripped to the waist and clutched an identical sword. "I fear nothing. I have no ties that will distract me." "That is good to hear," said Watcher Grey, "as it is you that is being challenged here. Your life converged with his so closely that the ether almost cracked in the outpouring of emotional turbulence you gave off. You were like a beacon." "Then let this beacon shine brightly," Callaghan snarled through gritted teeth. He fought back the urge to stare at the skies as they moved and transformed into a tapestry of his memory. Love and loss, hate and retribution played out around him like dreams. "Speak your name in your challenge," Watcher Grey said to the newcomer. "Baran Stylia," said the man who was physically identical in every way to Callaghan. "I stand here as summoned, ready to fight for my right to exist. I understand what is at stake and what I must do here. Watcher Black has told me of you at the far gates of Never. You're Callaghan. Understand that I take no pleasure in this." "Nor I," Callaghan answered, and charged. Their battle was brutal and relentless, each of them matched evenly in terms of strength and swordsmanship. Between the flash and impacts of blade against blade, there were body blows by fist and boot, lunges and parries and vicious kicks. Callaghan kept his eyes on Baron. He could not be the one to feel cold steel pass through his body today. Callaghan pushed on, sweat burning his eyes as his foe matched every blow and swing with one of his own. Above, around and below the floating isle of Never, their intertwined lives played out in orbs of moving images, separated by searing coloured light, where the membranes of realities crashed together like heavy waves. Callaghan forced himself to ignore them, while Farron glanced around them a few times. Doing so had seemed to give him more fight and make him push harder to claim Callaghan's life. The temptation was finally too much, and Callaghan shoved Farron back, affording himself chance to look around. As he did, he froze and let out a pained howl, not from an injury, but from the sights around them. Callaghan tossed his sword aside and fell to his knees. He looked at Farron through eyes blurred with tears rather than sweat. "Take my life," he cried out to his opponent. "Take it quickly!" "Callaghan!" Watcher Grey called out from the side of the bridge. "What are you doing?" Callaghan again gazed around Never as the flurry of images played out in all their beauty. He let out a tortured wail, then looked to Watcher Grey. "His life! This Farron has meaning! I cannot fight him anymore." Farron looked to the images above him that had given him strength. The boy swam in images from his birth and through his early years, up to images of him around the age of 10. "My son, Kai, what import is he to you? Look at my life in these strange dreams around us," Callaghan called out, pained. "You can see my wife carry my world's version of Kai. His name was Joran. You can see his birth on the same day as your son. You can see the same baby there. What is missing?" Farron lowered his sword and stared at the life of the identical Callaghan. "I see him as a beautiful newborn, and then... nothing." "Yes," Callaghan wept. "My wife is also missing in the days after that. They died, killed by a disease that swept our village when I was away labouring for the council. Your life, I can see how Joran would have grown, how he would have thrived. This is both beautiful and horrifying. Please, take my pointless life. Kai needs you." Farron hesitated. "How can I kill you? You've been through such horror. How can I be cruel?" Callaghan wept. "It would be a mercy. I have the greatest victory here. I've seen the boy my baby son would have grown to be. I concede." "You must take his life," said Watcher Grey, "or forfeit your own." Farron raised his sword. "I'm sorry, Callaghan, and thank you." Callaghan raised his eyes to the swirling heavens, fixing on an image of Kai, a fine boy of 10, looking into his father's eyes in the past as familiar hands passed him the fishing rod that had been repaired. His soulful eyes seemed to stare right at Callaghan from across time. While he knew the words were not aimed at him, Callaghan felt them most apt. "Thank you, Father," Kai said with the sweetest of voices and the brightest of smiles from the lost moments that surrounded Never. Farron swung his blade.